All right, if you clicked on this video, it's probably because you saw my last video on closing costs and you had some additional questions because maybe you're a veteran and you have a VA loan, or you are a veteran who is searching VA home loan closing costs because you've probably been told that closing costs exist and you're going, what the hell is that? Why do I have to pay it? I thought this was no money down. So you've come to the right place. I'm gonna briefly unpack the specific circumstances surrounding closing costs with a VA loan, what they are, why they're important, and then you can actually refer back to my other video, which is gonna give you a much more detailed breakdown of exactly what closing costs are, who you're paying, why you're paying them, what these terms mean, and how do we get it taken care of. So on a VA loan, the first thing we have to understand, and is not always communicated to us as veterans. I'm a veteran, I've been through the service, I've seen the advice that's given to sailors, soldiers, airmen, and Marines while they're in service, and the advice that they're getting and the guidance that they're getting around the VA home loan. And one of the things that is seldom talked about is closing costs. Your VA home loan is no money down. There's no down payment. It means we're not taking money out of our savings account and putting it into the equity of our home in the form of a down payment. That's what a down payment is. We're reducing what we owe on the home and creating equity with a down payment. But it is not no closing costs. You are going to have the same exact closing costs that any other home buyer or home seller would have. So as a buyer, you need to be prepared for that. As a seller, generally when you sell your home, any of those seller related costs are gonna be taken care of and they're gonna be pulled out of your proceeds. So let's totally round numbers. I don't know what state you're in. I don't know how much your house is selling for or how much you're buying it for. But let's say you're a seller and you have $5,000 in seller related closing costs, right? And you are going to net $100,000 from the sale. You're gonna sell your home, and based on what you owe versus what it's worth, there's $100,000 in proceeds for you. Well, that $5,000 is gonna be reduced from your proceeds, so you're gonna get a check for $95,000. Now, as a buyer, you don't really have that luxury. You don't own the home yet. There is no equity that's yours to speak of, so your closing costs are your responsibility, meaning you have to write a check or you have to bring that money into closing. So there's a couple things that you're gonna have to be aware of. There is a deposit that you're gonna put down. So when you get your offer accepted, you're gonna sign a contract with the seller of that property, and in good faith, you're gonna say, hey seller, I'm gonna deposit X amount of dollars for you to hold while we go through this real estate transaction. Let's, again, for round numbers, say it's $5,000. Now, you're gonna have closing costs. So let's say those closing costs are $10,000. You've already placed $5,000 in the account as a good faith deposit, which is going to be used, but there's still $5,000 more that you're going to be on the hook for to cover the remainder of your closing costs. Closing costs are not all fees that you're paying to a third party. Half of it is costs that you're paying to get the transactions done, and you are paying to a third party. Generally, the other half is taxes, insurance, and property taxes, or homeowners insurance, interest, and property taxes that you're setting aside. But either way, it's your responsibility to make those deposits. So just be prepared that there is going to be money that is required of you. So a lot of people don't get this information. They don't go through this. They don't watch this video. They go and they get themselves in contract to buy a house, and then their loan paperwork starts to show up, and they look at the bottom and they realize, why is it telling me that I have to deposit $10,000 at close of escrow? Why is my cash to close $10,000? I thought this was no money down. It is no money down. That is your closing cost that you need to be prepared for. So now that you've watched this video and you've educated yourself, you know that they exist. So how do we take care of those? The most common way and the most cost-effective way is for you to negotiate that upfront for the seller to pay those costs. So you're going to make an agreement. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I want to buy your house. I want to pay you this dollar amount for it. But in order for me to do that, I need X amount of dollars as a closing cost credit so that I can pay my closing costs. And that is how you would use your VA home loan to get a house with $0 out of pocket. Otherwise, you're gonna have to be responsible for wiring that money in at closing. And you're gonna have to be aware that you need to not only make a deposit, but you're probably gonna have more funds that are gonna be due at closing. So that's the breakdown on the VA home loan and closing costs. We have a no money down loan program that's available to us. We don't have a no closing cost program that's available to us. We need to be strategic and we need to think outside the box in order to get it taken care of. And you need to work with a mortgage professional who's going to educate you, and a real estate professional that knows how to navigate the situation and knows how to negotiate so we can get those paid for by the seller. If you're a veteran and you're PCSing or you're looking to buy or sell and you have questions, And we've just started to scratch the surface on what's possible with the VA home loan, and there's other things that you want to know about. We're always here to help. You can comment below and we'll reach out, or you can always email us at the email address in the description.